He was the son of the Sky Father, and when he was born, the sky cleared. His skin held the warmth of spring sunlight. His voice could calm storms. Where he passed, the crops stood tall and the sick grew still. He wore a cloak of white wolf fur and bore no crown, for the sun needs none. In battle he wielded Soulbrander, the Sunblade. Its edge gleamed like noon light on snow. Baldr was peace earned, not given. He was laughter with law behind it. His strength was not in domination, but in dignity. He had been raised by a father who taught him fire must be held, not feared. He was whole. But light always casts a shadow. And in that shadow walked Hther, his brother, his rival, his reflection. He ruled the pine-choked mountains of the north, where the mist never lifted and the stars watched without blinking. His armor was dark iron, his cloak black bear hide. His sword, Moanbrander, struck silent as the falling branch, curved and cold as winter's breath. Hther was not evil, but he was broken. He had been raised without the father, given to the hearth of a mother who kept him close, fed him well. He was kept safe from struggle, and she taught him to fear the fire instead of mastering it. Hther was not a villain, he was simply incomplete. And in the two princes a trial was laid before the folk. Baldr, the shining one, whole from birth, but Hther came shadowed, splintered, and silent. The gods watched, for this was the test. Would the tribe bind the broken one with rites and fire? Would they forge him strong, as once was done in the elder days? But none came forth. No spear father claimed him, no shield wall opened. He was left to the long embrace of the hearth where only the mothers sang. And so, he remained a boy in a man's body, strong, silent, but hollowed. Had he been guided, he might have stood beside his brother. Instead, he stood against them. The two princes were bound by a single fate. Both loved Nanna, the lady of the birch grove. But she chose Baldr, drawn to his joy, his warmth, his wholeness. And something within Hther cracked. But still, the rites remained, as they had since boyhood. The brothers sparred each morning beneath the eyes of the gods. Spear to shield, breath to breath, not as foes, but as fire tempers iron, one to sharpen the other. It was in this rite that the tribe hoped they would become kings. Then came the stranger, old, hooded, crooked. He whispered secrets and pressed a vial into Hther's hand. A cold draught drawn from the bloodfleta, a black vine said to grow where no sun could reach. "Tip your blade with this," said the stranger, "and you will be whole." And so he did. And when next they sparred, ritual, reflex, trust, Hther's spear drew blood. He did not know it would kill, but it did. The light left Baldr's eyes. His breath left his body, and silence fell over the world. So you've heard how the sun was struck down. But what happens when the light leaves the world? The old tales tell us it does not vanish, it journeys. They laid Baldr's body on a pyre built atop the greatest ship ever carved, Hring the ringed hull. It was said that giants came to push it to sea, that even beasts wept at its departure, that the world watched in silence as the fire consumed the Prince of Light, his white wolf cloak turning to smoke. At his side lay Nanna, his bride. She had not died by poison or blade, but by sorrow. When Baldr fell, so did she. The stories differ. Some say her heart broke, others say she walked willingly into the fire, but all songs agree. She chose him, even in death. And then the gods turned to the Allfather, to Odin, to grief. But grief changed him. He did not weep. He did not roar. He climbed atop his black steed, cloaked in shadows, crowned with wrath. And the wind carried him forth not as father, but as the Dark Rider. The earth trembled beneath his horse's hooves. The stars hid, the wolves went silent. The living and the dead alike feared the form that rode into hell. He was not called Odin on that path, no. Names fled from him like leaves on a storm. But the dead knew who he was. Down he rode, across 9 nights, through black forests and forgotten fields. And on the 10th night, he crossed the bridge no living king should pass. There he found his son. Baldr sat on a throne, not in chains, but in calm. Not in torment, but in truth. Nanna by his side. They had become caretakers of the dead, not tyrants, but shepherds. And the gods wept. The Dark Rider asked for his son's return. But Hel, the queen of that quiet realm, offered only a test. If all things in the world will weep for Baldr, then he may return. So the word went out. The trees wept, the stones shed tears, every iron rusted in mourning. All things wept, but one refused. An old crone in a cave, eyes dry as bone. She would not cry for the golden one. Some say it was Loki in disguise. Others say it was something older, cold and proud and cruel. And so the gate stayed closed. Yet, down below, beneath the roots of the world, he waits, not in chains, not in sleep, but in stillness, with Nanna at his side, guiding the dead, tending the balance, until we are ready. Until the last heart melts and the last tear falls, then and only then will his sunlight rise again. This is not a bedtime story, my son. This is a warning. You will see many dry eyes in your life. You may even wear that look yourself, but if you do, remember Baldr's price. And know that light only returns to those willing to weep for it. After the fire faded, Höðr wandered. He did not gloat. He did not conquer. He ruled for a time, justly, even wisely. But he never spoke of that day. Some say he drank to sleep. Others say he walked the northern woods alone, looking for a shadow that wouldn't leave him. And Nana, she did not return, not to him. He was fated to love her, but fate did not return the favor. She remained with Baldr in the Hall of the Dead. And that choice was not just hers, it was the world's. For after Baldr's fall, the world grew colder. The sun still rose, yes, but with less fire. The fields still bore crops, but with more toil. Men spoke more softly, loved more cautiously, fought without song. And the gods? They withdrew. The All-Father did not return from hell as a king. He did not come back to rule or speak or save. The wise king was put away. The gray-bearded watcher, the one-eyed guardian, he faded into story. You may know him by other names, Merlin, Gandalf, the Hidden Sage, but these are only echoes. He does not lead, not yet. He watches from the edges, withholding wisdom from a world that would not weep. He offers no crown, only thunder. No counsel, only the hunt. For until the tribe mourns what is lost, until the sun bears the weight of kingship, he remains a shadow on the wind, a rider in the storm, a warning in the dark. And some say that in the dead of winter, when the wind howls and the dogs cower, he rides again, not as Odin, not as king, but as the wild hunt. Cloaked in blood and shadow, his single eye burning cold as ice. A fury that cannot die, a memory that will not fade. The gods are not dead, they are waiting, just like Baldr. And the longer we forget, the darker the world becomes. There is no happy ending, not yet. Baldr still waits, the sun still rests beneath the earth, and Höðr's throne sits empty, rusting under frost. But the story is not done, because Ragnarok is not a single battle, it is a choice. A turning, a storm that builds each time men forget. The gods are not dead, but perhaps they are dying. Not by blade, but by silence. And our world? It stumbles forward, mocking kings, shaming fathers, worshipping what Jung calls the devouring mother. But deep in the bones of the world something stirs. Not anger. Memory. And when the last child mourns the sun, when the last man remembers fire without fear, then the gate opens. Then the rider returns and Baldr walks again. So remember this, my son. The gods never asked for temples. They asked for tears, not of weakness, but of memory sharpened into will. To grieve is not to kneel. It is to ride with purpose. The throne is not lost. It was abandoned. And it waits, not for permission, but for the man with the strength to claim it. For us. For you. Until next time.